Whenever I perform magic, people often ask me how I got interested in magic. And the first magic trick that I ever saw was shown to me by my father. Now, he wasn't a magician, but he used to do a card trick around the house whenever I didn't want to do my chores. So I saw this every day. I really wasn't a good kid. It's a pretty simple game. It uses 4 cards and an envelope. Now, we don't really need the envelope, but I'm taking a little extra time showing it to you for some reason before I place it over here. The cards are pretty straightforward, except that 3 of them are the same. One of them is different, the Ace of Hearts. There are 3 4 of spades and 1 Ace of Hearts. The idea of the game is to find that Ace of Hearts. So, for example, in the fall, it was my job to rake the leaves, and I didn't feel like doing it, so my dad got out the cards, and he would place the Ace of Hearts on the table where I could keep an eye on it, and he'd show me the 3 remaining cards were the 4 of spades. 3, 4 of spades. And then he would turn one of them face down to try to confuse me, and he'd say, "Dan," because that's my name, "if you can tell me where the Ace of Hearts is, you won't have to rake the leaves." Well, I felt he was raking me in, and I wasn't going to leave it at that. So I said, "I want to see the card that's face down in your hand." He said, "Sure thing, that's just one of the 4s. But, my father was a fair man, so he gave me another chance. So I said, "Well, it's got to be the one on the table." He never went anywhere near it. He just said, "Go get the rake. The ace is over here. That is just a 4 of spades." Well, I had no idea how he did that, but I decided not to worry about it. And then, in the winter, it was my job to shovel the snow. So my dad did exactly the same thing. He got out the cards and he turned the Ace of Hearts face down so that I could keep an eye on it. He placed it across the room on the table. And then he turned one of the other cards face down and he said, "Dan," because that's my name, "if you can find the Ace of Hearts, you won't have to shovel the snow." Well, I remember the last time I was left out in the cold, I really felt like a flake. I knew I was getting another snow job. You get the drift? So I said, "I want to see the card that's face down in your hand." And he said, "Sure thing. That is just a 4 of spades." But my father was a fair man, so he gave me another chance. So I said, "Well, it's got to be the one on the table." He never went anywhere near it. He just said, "I'm sorry, go get the shovel. You see, this card is the Ace of Hearts." And it was. And that is just a 4 of spades. Well, I had no idea how he did that, but I decided not to worry about it. And then, in the spring, it was my job to mow the lawn. I didn't want to do it. My dad got out the cards, and I got kind of nervous because I wasn't sure I could take any mower. Yeah, I wrote the whole thing for that one line, so it stays in. But as soon as he turned the ace face down, I knew I could cut him to the quick because I figured out what he was doing. He didn't just turn one card face down, he turned 2 cards face down, and that's not very fair. But my father was a fair man, so he removed the 2 4s that were showing, and he proceeded to mix the other 4 and the ace. He said if I could tell him which one was the ace, I wouldn't have to mow the lawn. I said, "It's easy, it's the left one." He said, "Nope, that's a 4. And I said, "Aha, I got you this time, old man. I didn't mean the card in your left hand, I meant the card that would be left." He said, "That's okay, that's also a 4. As a matter of fact, he never used an ace at all. He only had 4 of spades. He just kept the ace in the envelope for safekeeping. And I should have known better because my father never did play with a full deck."